Welcome to God's Hookups television show. This is Dr. Barbara Young, your host, and this is a show that features up-close and personal interviews with guests from all walks of life who share their stories about unexplainable blessings, successful events, and extraordinary miracles and encounters that can only be of God's hookup. You will receive hope, enlightenment, encouragement that will feed your spirit and your soul. Now, to my guest today. Hello, Sandra Rogers. How are you?
Hey, Barbara, how are you?
I am so happy to have you on the show. Finally got you on the show. Let me introduce my guest today for my viewers. This is Miss Sandra Rogers. She is the network director of Voice America, which is the largest platform of digital information, digital radio and TV in the world. Sandra was born in Chicago. Yes, she did. And she had the nerve to move to Tucson, Arizona in the late 80s. She is a musician in her own right, and she's performed at many events. One of the things I do know about Sandra Rogers, she recently took up a new instrument to add to her repertoire, and that it was the guitar.
Yes.
This performer has been on stage for many, many years, and she's currently enjoying her role as the network director of Voice America. And I might add that Sandra and I go back a few years, and she's one of the most lovely people I know, and it's been so instrumental in helping me to become successful as a host on Voice America. And I want to give her personally accolades for doing that, Sandra. You've always been there. And one, I know that you love finding talent, and you really are very good at being there to hear the passion of the host and to be responsive to them. And that means a lot. And I know this is probably all this coming to Tucson and being the network director. This has been a life-changing experience for you. But we want to give you thanks. And I just want you to know that I really, really appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Barbara. It's a pleasure to be here.
We're talking about these incredible experiences from individuals from all walks of life, all professions, who have their God's hookup stories to share. And so for my listeners today, we have a woman who has an incredible story. I thought that would be so important for people to hear right now during what we are experiencing. And that is a pandemic. All of us know. So Sandra, share your testimony. You may have one or two that you want to share, but
you know what? First of all, thank you so much for inviting me to the show. It's a pleasure and honor to be with you. And the title of the show, God's Hookup, speaks volumes about blessings that are out there and happens to millions of people every single day. But reflecting on that is a whole nother world, I think, to really be reminded that I was truly blessed. And I could say to you, and I shared this with you, Barbara, that in the middle of this pandemic, which struck somewhere around late February, March, in that time frame, I was on the quest to find a home. And it was it's daunting at best to find a home, because you're trying to go out there and find something that you want, something that is better than what you have, and not settle for anything in general, overall, in house hunting. But now throw a pandemic on top of that, and this is where the whole world is shutting down around you. Wow. And you are running out of toilet paper and cleaning supplies, and food is not on shelves in grocery stores. And those are things that I'm used to seeing. But in the middle of that, stepping out and saying, okay, I'm in this process of getting a home. I have to move forward. I have to live and believe that I'm going to be okay through this. And it was daunting. It was nerve-wracking. It was a lot of paperwork, mountains of paperwork, and realtors, and answering the same questions that you just answered, and seeing these homes and going into them and realizing that in so many moments I felt that maybe I should just wait until next year. Maybe we should wait until this thing subsides, and nobody knew when it would subside. But you can't pull out if you're already in the throes of it. The lending is there, Some of the listings are being sent, and you're looking at those, and now you're looking at realtors, and you're driving to locations, and you're seeing them, it was just a whole whirlwind kind of thing. Now that I look back on it, but it was really at a point where I didn't think it would be even possible. And then, of course, not settling for just anything, because you could just to expedite it. Like, let me take this, let me go ahead and, put flooring in or paint, and let me, take the kitchen out and that kind of thing. I didn't want to walk into a house where I had to do all the work before I can live in there. Cleaning, I don't care about that. That's a given. That's natural. You have to do that. But I don't want to rebuild anything. I'm not at that age nor, mental capacity to do any of those things. So it was just this beautiful alignment of, after so many homes, after seeing so many of them and being disappointed because they were flying off the shelves. As soon as they got on the shelf for sale, and by the time you rolled up in there to look at it, it was already contracts with backups. And that's what the listings were reading as. So this was just the alignment of being, the house went on the market. We were able to get there on President's Day, a holiday, and it was raining, and so it was just one of those, everything just aligned so that we were in the door first to see it. And the owners were original owners of this house, so they had taken meticulous care. You should see the stack of paperwork that we were given with instructions on everything, all the history of everything. It was just beautifully taken care of and well manicured. And we really literally had to just have a cleaning crew come in and do the carpets and the floors, and everything else was already taken care of. And so in the middle of the pandemic, Barbara, in April, where people were literally having to agree to come in. If you came into my house, you tell me if you had a high temperature, if you were sick, if you're not, you had to list stuff that you didn't have to be able to get into this house to see it. And we were able to do that, and everything just came together. And so we took possession on the 27th of April. And so we've been in here.
Wow.
It was just one of those remarkable things and it was blessing. It was a true blessing. When you asked me about being a guest on the show and talking about God's hookups, and what was that for me? When did I realize something like that? And now that I'm reflecting on it, many times I've been blessed and hooked up by God. We know, the universe is loving, God is loving and giving, but you just have to realize that that's what's happening, so that awareness is there. And I feel that it's truly remarkable that this happened. I cannot believe it. I still can't. I'm still in love with everything, and everything is being discovered daily, but it just fits, and it just seems like this has been our home forever. It's so weird. But
I have a question, because you and I had talked about this, and the reason why I really wanted to have on the show, because we had quite a bit of conversation about.
Yes, we did.
When you were going through the throes of looking at all these disasters, and maybe this house, wrong neighborhood, but did you have in mind what you really wanted? Mm-hmm. I mean, did you have a picture of what it was you specifically wanted in a house?
Yes.
To begin with.
Yes. And I've always had that. And because, I've been influenced by The Secret and visualizing and vision boards and things like that. So yes, I've had a concept of what that home would be like. And last night, it was so interesting because I was sitting outside on the porch. And it's hotter than blazes here in Arizona. It's 100-something degrees day and night now. But the porch was comforting, and it was lovely. It's lovely out there. I should take my camera and take you through the house. But anyway, the porch, and I looked at everything, And it was like this house seems to be a combination of all of those things, Barbara, because it wasn't just, even when we were looking at a house, we liked that about that house, but not this about the house, and so it's like, I wish I could take this of that house and put this in that house and scramble all this stuff together and make this beautiful home. But this seems to be that. It seems to be everything that I had on a list of must-haves is in this house.
I mean, that's what's not nothing about God's hookup.
Yeah.
I can give you everything you want, plus
Yeah.
adds a little extra.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you got a little extra.
Yeah, so we got some fruit trees on the property. I didn't put that in my list.
You didn't put that in there.
You know what I mean? And so fruit trees are on the property, beautiful shrubs and beautiful trees and just shade and all of those things that you just sort of think about, but you don't add that to a list or anything. So it was just, it's exciting. It was miraculous, I feel, because these homes, like I told you, were flying off the shelves. It's not like we did put in offers, and they were already. We were in line for before. There were offers before, and then there were homes that we thought, okay, let's take this, but that would have been settled. I would have settled for the house instead of just really loving it right away, And I don't want to just have to build this love up. I want to love it and then just add to it as I'm here, because it makes me feel that way. It brings that energy and that spirit out through me, and this is doing that. This home is doing that.
Difference too, even in everything that you do, your job, your attitude when you go to work. I mean, because you're at a home that you come home and you can relax and it's comfortable. It's what you wanted. I mean, it's such what I would say, a spirit, soul, flesh experience, because it satisfies your soul, it satisfies your spirit, and you're at rest.
Yes.
You look absolutely beautiful. You look happy. Happy when I see you.
We are so happy. And let me tell you, there were some moments, moving is a nightmare. It was a nightmare. Let me tell you, moving was a nightmare. And the movers were nightmares. But, getting through that and finally pushing that incident out or moving from it, and now unpacking and putting things here and there and realizing that that's probably why I bought that anyway, because it never looked this way in the other house, and it looks perfectly beautiful here in this house. So it was one of those, it just was meant to happen. It was really, and the beautiful couple that just decided that they wanted something smaller. So and it was so interesting because they moved to the east side. I'm on the west side of Phoenix, a city called Avondale. And so I lived in Gilbert. So they moved east, and then we moved west. Yes. But we met them. They walked us through the house, gave us history, records of everything.
Were they the only owners of that house?
Yeah. Yeah, they're the original owners.
Yeah, the original.
Yeah, they're original owners, and they kept it in miraculous condition, because again, that was the other thing, and that wasn't a must-have. I didn't put original owners, but I realized that is huge in getting a home when it's just passed along by the original owner, as opposed to multiple people being in there before that.
Well, I think, that one of the most miraculous things too, in your story for the viewers out there, is that, no matter what we may be going through this pandemic, and a lot of people, I don't know what I'm going to do, is a disaster, but out of this hope can come, out of this, the things that God cares about, even the smallest things, the fact about you needed a house, and he gave you the house in the pandemic. I mean, because March, end of March, and by the time you guys closed, it was April.
Yeah.
We're full blown in April.
Fully in it. Fully in it. Yeah. And now you've got, locksmiths and everybody that has to come in and change out stuff. You have to get utilities in, and you You have to get, for appliance centers and all of those things in your house. And we're doing that now. We're being as careful as we can be. But it was really a lot to get through, but it was one of those things where you just realize I have to do it. It's I can't go and change any of this. So now that I'm in the throes of it, I have to stay and move forward in it.
Right. Well, I think too, you have another, before we close the show, another little bit of a God hookup story. And I confess, I know
I
this
do.
because the God hookup was, well, number one, getting you out of Chicago into California. That's a big step. Most I hope I'm pronouncing it right, Chicagoans or people from
Chicagoans, yes,
don't migrate to California.
Yes.
And so to make that step, that was a God's hookup, because look how you ended up in California, in the house of your dreams. I'm still all correlating all of this together, if you follow me.
So Barbara, what you're saying, not in California, you're saying in Arizona, how I ended up in Arizona.
Arizona.
So, I worked, and I don't know how much time we have left, a little bit of time. So I worked for a steel supplier in Chicago as a credit manager, and I issued credit, that was part of my role there. But then when the bills didn't get paid, I had to get some agency to help me collect. And I ended up hiring a collections agency to clean up some of the debt that was not paid, and to go after the newer monies that were still owed. And they successfully recovered a lot of funds for this agency. And they ended up recruiting me to come and work for them. So I walked away from so anyway, they're in Tucson, Arizona, this agency. And I turned down the offer because I thought there's no way I would want. I've never been to Tucson before. I didn't, I was single, no family. I mean, family, but no children. Right. So I didn't have anything tethering me to Chicago, but my family, was there. And I, as they flew me out there, just in gratitude for us using their service, they recruited me to come and work for them. And I thought, there's no way on earth I'm moving to Tucson, Arizona. So no, and that was an offer. And the offer was, we'll pack you, we'll send movers to your house, take your furniture and your car, and fly you to Tucson, and then pay you a nice salary every month, monthly, to work for us. And I thought, nope, not doing it. And 3-4 years must have gone by, and Chicago had a record freeze and snow was everywhere. And I was like, I'm in a godforsaken city. I felt like it was just horrible. So I was like, Barbara, if that offer is still on the table, I'd like to take it. And her response to me, and her name was Barbara also, her response to me was, when can you be here? And I'm like, are you kidding me? So I committed to doing it. And I didn't have to do anything but pack my clothes and furniture and put in boxes, and they came and packed it up and moved it and brought me to Tucson.
You mean to tell me 3 years later the offer was still open?
She said, when can you be here? I could not believe that.
Not a God hookup.
Tell me. Because when I talk to people about how I got to Tucson, they can't believe that I didn't pay anything to get there. I mean, they paid everything. First, last month's rent on this beautiful townhome that I ended up living in the middle of a citrus grove in Tucson, which just meant that grapefruits were outside of my front door, and orange and citrus trees and all of those things. It was wonderful. It was beautiful. And Barbara, thank you for that, reminding me of that, because I forgot about that.
I said the girl from Chicago.
Yeah.
When I first started this, the girl from Chicago, and she dared to move. I knew there had to be a story.
Yeah.
The Chicagoans do not normally migrate west, Arizona or California. And so I thought there was going to be a God hookup in that story. And actually, when you write your memoirs, you're going to, or if you blog, or if
Oh
you,
my gosh.
you're going to realize that God has been in your life
All along. I mean,
all along.
yes.
And what happens is that oftentimes we don't acknowledge
Yep.
that God, there was a divine intervention. We just don't. So I want to thank you for being on the
You're
show.
welcome.
And,
So
and I know that this has helped viewers out there we're going through things right now. And some people are stressed, they're depressed.
mhm.
This show is to bring that it's not just a person who maybe in formalized religion or going to church or they're Catholics or whatever. This is about individuals from
Yeah.
all walks of life who've had God hookups. And God gave me the idea for this show because I believe with all my heart, He wants people to know He's there and
Mhm.
He's there for you. And He's been there all along. And He will be there for us if we just trust and believe that we're going through this. This is not the end of the world. I don't care what anybody says. I do not believe that. And so we have to keep, and
Amen.
Tom Mack used to say, a friend many years ago, keep hope alive.
Yeah.
So keep doing what you're doing because you're making a difference in the lives of so many of the hosts at Voice America. And there are quite a few I know by now, and more people are really getting their messages out there, and you're helping to keep us focused and on track. And for that, I thank you so much.
Absolutely. It's been my pleasure, Barbara. You have really stirred me into reality. I mean, reflecting on things that we just take for granted and just think that that's just something that just happened, but it isn't just a coincidence. It is an intention. It is a result of belief and faith and positivity.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I just want to say thank you again. And for all of you who would like to be on my show, you can be on my show. And to receive all of the updates for all of the live upcoming shows, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. And it's at Dr. Barbara Young at gmail.com. Again, that's Dr. Barbara Young Radio. Dr. Barbara Radio at gmail.com. And so if you'd like to be a guest on the show, you can contact me at drb@godshookups.com. I'd appreciate you to share this with your friends. And guess what? You can even follow me. You can absolutely follow me on any new radio and television shows because I'm on Radio Voice America.
Mhm. Yep.
And the network director is here today. So I have
All right.
on
Right
Voice America, the largest platform in the world. So we're on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, at Dr. Barbara Young. And I want you to please share this show with your friends. So thank you again, Sandra.
You're welcome.
Beautiful guest. And
You're beautiful.
because I'm going to remind you that there are more God's hookups that you probably.
Oh my gosh. Absolutely. Thank you for that.
And just thanking God. And I thank God for you and helping me with Voice America. It's a pleasure to be there.
Absolutely.
And thank you. And have a blessed weekend. Today is Friday. So for all you viewers out there, have a blessed weekend. Wash your hands, wear your gloves, wear your mask. Be safe.
Social distance, right.
So
All right, Barb.
again, bye-bye, sweetheart.
Okay.
Take care.
Bye-bye.